Hi everyone, welcome back to the kitchen. Today I'm going to share with you how you can do something special with that bounty from the garden. We're going to make refrigerated pickled green beans. I can't wait to show you how this all comes together. Well, my dad had a neighbor share a bunch of fresh green beans out of the garden with him, and I'm thinking, what am I going to do with these? And because the 4th of July is coming and there's no better time to make a pickle, I thought we would make some pickled green beans today. They're great to share, they're great to enjoy with your burger or your hot dog or whatever. They're fabulous to share and they're really, really delicious. So what we're gonna do is I have about a pound or so of fresh green beans. I have washed them and I have cut the ends off. And as you can see, I've stood them straight up, and these are 1.5 pint jars. We are doing a refrigerator pickle today, which means this is not a canning recipe, nor is it intended to be. So if you're gonna ask me if you can can this, the answer is no. You should seek out a canning recipe that is appropriate for pickled green beans or dilly beans or something thereof. But today we're just gonna put these in a pickly brine and we're going to stick them in the refrigerator, and they're gonna be delicious and they're gonna be crisp and they're gonna stay crisp because the green beans remain crisp even though they get soaked in the brine. So I have about a pound divided into 2 jars. We're gonna make our brine using about 2 cups of apple cider vinegar and a cup of water, along with 2 tablespoons each of granulated sugar and kosher salt. We're also going to be adding 2 tablespoons of minced garlic, or about 4 cloves minced. And then we're going to add to our jars 2 tablespoons of mixed peppercorns, 2 tablespoons of dill seed. If you have the opportunity to get fresh dill from the grocery store, or maybe you have it in your garden, you can add that in here too. I don't like using the dehydrated dill weed because it makes the brine murky and it just makes it very ugly to look at. I also have sliced a small sweet onion very, very thin, and we're going to add that to the jar as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the things that we need to make our brine in this saucepan, and then we're going to take it over to the stove and we're going to just bring it to a simmer. You don't need to watch me do that, but while this is on the stove, we're going to prepare our jars. So in goes our water, our vinegar, our salt and sugar, as well as our garlic. And this is really just the simplest kind of pickle. I love a refrigerator pickle. I have several refrigerator pickle recipes on my channel, and I will leave a link to the playlist in the iCard on the upper right hand corner of the screen, or down below in the description box. I'm gonna go stick this on the stove over a medium-high flame and just let this come to a simmer. Meanwhile, we're gonna prep our jars. All right, since I have 2 jars and I have 2 tablespoons of each of the peppercorns and the dill seed, then I'm just gonna go ahead and put a tablespoon in each jar. Now you can feel free to put mustard seed in here. If you don't want to use the individual seasonings or spices, you can go ahead and use pickling spice and just use a tablespoon or so of pickling spice in each jar. And then we're going to divide our onion and put about half of the onion in each jar. You can leave the onion out if that's not something you prefer. I love to put onions in a pickling brine. I think it's really delicious. And don't worry if this is like all sitting on the top, because once we get the brine in there, everything is going to loosen up and we'll be able to give it a shake and it's going to disperse a little bit. Now we're just going to wait for our brine to come to a simmer, and we'll be right back and we'll pour it over our veggies. Okay, our brine came to a simmer, and now you just want to make sure the salt and the sugar are all dissolved. Now we're just going to go ahead and put it in our jars. And I have a canning funnel, which is very, very helpful. And then we'll do the same with this jar. So now you just want to get in here. I have the handle of my wooden spoon, and I'm just going to put it straight up and down a couple of times. This is going to help disperse everything really well. And like I said, don't worry about the onions floating on the top. Eventually they will settle, just like everything else in the jar. We're just going to go ahead and put the lid on these. We're just going to let these sit on the counter until they're room temperature, and then we can put them in the fridge. I'm going to bring you back in just a little while, and I'm going to give these a taste with Rick, and I'll show you what they look like. Well, there you have it. Now, keep in mind, these are really going to be best once they've sat in the brine for at least 24 hours. So we've let these sit for about a half an hour or so, and they're crisp. They're already starting to absorb the flavor of the brine. The onions have started to wilt a little bit and become pickled, and that's exactly how you want it. Now, I said you want to leave these on your counter until they're at room temperature, and then you're going to want to stick them in your fridge and just keep them there, and then you can eat from the jar for the next several weeks, up to 3 months, and it's going to be delicious. So, do you want to try one?
I have to.
You have to. Let's see here. Super crispy.
That's really good.
They're really good, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had one earlier and I'm not disappointed. Again, dilly beans are a big favorite with certain people. I've never canned dilly beans before, but I have made pickled green beans, just refrigerator pickles. And I love the idea of a refrigerator pickle because not everyone wants to go to the trouble of making giant vats of pickles or pickled vegetables or what have you. So a refrigerator pickle is a nice low-key way to pickle something when you have neighbors who have shared. I've made pickled a zucchini in the past, and I have a video of that, and it's absolutely delicious. We've done refrigerator pickles of all varieties, and I have even more ideas that I want to share with you in the future. So that's how you make refrigerator pickle green beans. I hope you give it a try, and I hope you love it. And until next time, I'll see ya.